Well, I think the Broiler Chicken Project was a really good kickstart for the beginning of the year for me. I mean, instead of us, we learned like the tiny basics of agri-science, but then we just jumped right into it before we got into any more of the hard stuff.
My favorite part about the Broiler Chicken Project was probably the ability to get out of our seats and actually do the work rather than read about it, learn about it, and not do anything related to it.
My experience with the Broiler Chicken Project was a little different from anything else I've ever done in a classroom. It was really cool to see how the chickens grew and how quick they put on weight.
The project overall was a lot of fun. Everywhere from like getting the measurements for the pens that we needed, building the pens, having the chicks arrive, and just kind of like assigning chores for them, and doing our broiler chicken packets and then saying goodbye to them. The whole experience was it was really great to have. Kind of like prepares you for the future if livestock is something that you want to go into.
I have not had a class before that we have used 3 teachers to do one project, but it was very useful to have them because they all did one specific thing. Like Miss Fayok, she helped us with the math component and figuring out how much to sell them for, how much we profit, etc. And then we had Miss Glee who helped us write the essay, and she dealt with the technical writing and explained to us how we should do it. And Mr. Matchett just knew everything about raising the actual livestock.
I really liked it. I got to get feedback from all 3, and it was nice because every teacher gives different feedback, so I had a variety of feedback to choose from, and I learned a lot during this whole thing from each one.
Getting feedback from 3 different teachers on one project was really helpful because you got to get 3 different viewpoints on, one question.
I think it really helped though having like a math teacher and an English teacher plus an agri-science teacher.
Math was incorporated in kind of every aspect of the project.
Well, math was kind of incorporated like while we were building the pens, figuring out, like I said, all the measurements and then the amount of feed that we needed, plus we had to weigh the birds every week. And I think like having us do like that kind of stuff with the math kind of helped me realize, how much it's used in daily life, outside of the classrooms.
When we first got the chickens, weighing them and seeing how much they gained per week, going from 1-ounce chicks to 5-6 pound birds. Whenever we would do any kind of calculations, figuring out, how much did each bag of food cost us, how much we would go through sawdust and how much those bags cost, and the rate of gain for the birds, and it kind of showed how algebra and things like that can be applied to everyday life.
We learned as we went. When we had to learn about feed conversions, she taught us, and we didn't all learn it. We didn't learn it in the beginning, so it was really nice to learn as we went along, so we didn't forget anything, and it actually has stuck with me, because in previous math classes I don't remember a lot because
Our math teacher kind of helped us with like all the calculations for our packet, figuring out like every little last detail.
Personally, it didn't really make me think about math differently, but it definitely proved all my teachers right, saying that I'm gonna have to be using these later in life.
Well, I think an essay, compared to like writing in an English classroom, rather, like in our class, like with an actual project, I think it was easier because I knew more about the subject. Yeah, we had to use technical writing, which I've never really used before, but yeah, I think like having the chickens there, like I really felt like I knew what I was talking about while I was writing the essay, and so I think it really did help to have that.
Compared to the traditional English classroom, it was definitely easier at times, but it was definitely way more difficult because we had to be very descriptive. We couldn't do basic pronouns. We had to be very straightforward, and like the chickens were sold at this time. It wasn't like I sold the chickens at this time.
I liked it because I remember it's coming from my head, and I don't have to do the research. So I felt really smart because it was coming from me, and it wasn't just coming from what I look up on the internet.
My favorite part was probably getting to see the chickens every day.
Like, because they were really, really cute when we first got them.
Having 100 chickens in a greenhouse is not the greatest.
Then they got smelly, and then nope.
My favorite part was actually when it was the end of the project and I got to go home with my 5-pound chicken.
The integrated curriculum helped me prepare for going to the broiler contest because I was able to better understand how birds were chosen to go to the contest.
My experience with the Broiler Chicken Project went very well. It gave me a lot of insight in like what it's like to raise livestock and deal with costs.
The integrated curriculum prepared me for the broiler contest because we were asked questions. We had to know about how much feed we gave them. And so it was really nice. And we had to know about the health of the birds as well. And so the integrated curriculum, the math, the science, everything behind it has helped me with being prepared for the contest.